Hello and welcome to this this lab, which is around automating the web, using Power Automate Desktop to automate websites and inputting data and extracting data from websites. The lab document is lab number 9. In this one, I recommend that you follow along on screen here, purely because there's a couple of nuances and issues that you can run into that I can guide you through, and we can work on it together. So let's crack on and just get on with it. The couple of things you need to make sure that you have done before you start is make sure that you have the Power Automate extension installed on Chrome or Edge. So use Chrome or Edge for this. The other thing to check is go to Settings. So first thing to do is make sure you've got the Power Automate Chrome extension installed, and you can use Chrome or Edge for that. It's totally fine. And then in settings, you want to make sure that this particular setting is turned off. So this continue running background extensions when Microsoft Edge is closed, make sure that is turned off. That can cause some funky things for us. You can turn it back on after you've done this, but then again, I mean, it's a pretty, I'm not sure I want that to be on anyway. But just make sure that is turned off. The website we're going to automate is this. We're going to go to this website here, and we're going to put some data in here, and we're going to capture this into a variable and put it in that Excel spreadsheet we did in the last lab. So what we're going to do is edit our, so going to enter an invoice and click on edit, and you should open up this. And we're going to create a new subflow. If you've just finished the Excel component, you know what a subflow is, so I'm not going to reiterate that. I'm just going to call this currency converter. And click on save. And what we want to do is we're going to launch a website. So we're going to launch new, and you've got all these different options here. We're going to launch new Microsoft Edge, and it's going to ask us what page we're going to go to, and it's this link is in the it's in the notes below this video. And you notice a couple of things here. So you can launch we're going to launch a new instance. Here's the URL we're going to go to. It's going to be normal. You could be maximized, minimized, etc. We're going to do it as normal. If you're doing unattended automation, highly recommend you get in the habit of doing maximized for launching browsers. Just makes things easier for the bot to do. I'm going to go into advanced here. And you can just have a look at some of the options. You can clear the cache, you can clear cookies, you can wait for the web page to load. Highly recommend that. By default that's on. I don't know why you turn that off. And the other thing that we know here, it can handle pop-ups. So we're going to do nothing on a pop-up appearing, and it's going to pop the browser into this variable called browser. So that'll be the browser session that we're going to work with. Then click on save. And now what we want to do is we want to input some data into the website, into the web page. So the action we're looking for is populate, and you'll see in the filter here, populate text field on a web page. Drag that over, and it'll say, okay, which instance do you want to use? And we're going to use the browser, the browser session that we just opened. And the UI element, we're going to add a UI element, and we're going to go into the web page. I'm going to have a look at the web page here, and as you can see, similar to how we were how when you're automating that you get the little red boxes. We're going to do the same. We're going to go over here, and we would click in here to type in the number. So we click in there, so we know that that's the right place to go into. So we click in there. So we Control click to capture that. Now you'll notice what happens on the UI here. So something here happens on the UI. When I click on that, you then get this element that appears called input text. And it is that where we put in the data. So what we want to do is make sure that we're capturing that second element. So we click on this span element, and then this element appears, and it is this where we're typing the data into. So I'm going to click on Control and press and click again. So because we're actually doing two actions here, we're clicking on span and then we're clicking on input text. So I'm going to click on done here. And what we're going to enter into into span is nothing. I'm going to click enter there. It can't be empty. So let's put in an empty string. So an empty string is %% and two double quotes. We're going to put an empty string into that into span, and it is into that. And then we're going to populate text onto a web page again. So this is definitely, the web page has changed. This is different to the lab materials. And I was having issues before with it not entering in the like this number here. So we're typing in here, this number here wasn't changing. And I think that's because there's actually two elements here. There's a hidden element of input text that only appears when I click there. Now input text appears, and it's input text that drives this. So what we want to do is go in here, and we're going to put in the amount here. And this time we actually want to use that, and click on select and save. And what I'm going to do is just clean up some of those UI elements by going in here and remove unused elements. They're just from my previous attempts. So we can see we've only got the two. So this just puts in empty text, and this here types into that. So let's see if that works. Let's see if that works. So it's going to open up and do its stuff here. You know what I haven't done? I do this all the time. I haven't put the subflow to run. So let's cancel out of that. Let's re-enable that one. And we're going to run the currency converter and try that again. So here, hopefully this has fixed an issue that I was seeing with the labs, with that particular web page. It seems to have changed quite a bit, that web page. So currency converter is going to open. But this is the reality of web automation. No, that hasn't worked. So what I need to do is, rather than populate text field, I think it's just click. Click link on web page, click UI element in window. Let's try that one. And I wonder if that I can choose that UI element there. I can't. Let's cancel out of that one. Click link on a web page. I wonder if that is a link. Let's see. UI element, yes it is. So we're going to click on that there. And it's going to be a left click. Alright, so let's save that. So this time, rather than us populating that with anything, we're going to click on it, because that's what we were doing in the in reality. So let's close those two and see what happens with this one. And now we should see, so it's going to open up this, and it's going to click in there, and then it's going to enter the data. Okay, we got further. Now you'll see something funky's happened here. We have a $sign here. So if that $sign wasn't there, this would have worked. And what happens is, and you might have this in your, with AI Builder, it can send over the dollar. So we want to remove the dollar character from the amount, so that it sends just the number to that web page. So the way we do that is we use the replace function. So look for replace. And we're going to drag over replace text. And what this does is it takes a string, it takes some text and replaces a string in it. So we're going to look for the amount. And the text we're going to find is the dollar. So we're looking for any $sign inside this text. And we're going to replace it with the empty string. Now the empty string is %, and then inside 2%, it is 2 double quotation marks. So a blank field there won't work. % won't work. Percent and then two double quotes is how Power Automate recognizes an empty string. So I'm going to click save on that, and I'm going to try it again. And here we go. So it enters the data in. And fingers crossed that this works. We're going to replace that $, so it's just numbers. We're going to click in there, and then we're going to enter the data in. The $, didn't disappear. Oh, I know why. Silly me. So on the replace text, you'll notice here that the variable that it's actually replacing into, so it's taking this in, replacing the $, and it's actually writing it into this variable here called replaced. We actually want to write it into itself. So it's just replacing that $, within itself. That's what that was. Click on run. Off we go again. This is the reality of web automation. It is very fiddly, but once you get it working, it's very satisfying. So if you have stuck through this video this long, you must have some of that that particular bug in you as well. So congratulations, and it is pretty cool when you get things right. And then once we lose focus from that, we need to press enter. I think we need to press enter. That is very, very bizarre. So it left the field in there. Let's just extract the data from the field and see if it converts it when we do the extraction. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get element get in web, get details of element attribute on a web page. So we click on that, drag that over. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this number here. So the UI element we want to use, click on that, add UI element, and it is this, control left click, and that goes in there, and we're done. So get the details of that element. Okay, let's run that and see if we get what we want to do is we want to populate that into a variable. I'm going to call the variable converted amount. Converted amount, and save. And then let's run that and see what happens. I have a feeling we may need to do some sort of key pressing after the input text to make it work. It's going to go through and do its thing there, and then open up the currency converter, and we'll see what happens here. So it puts the 500 in, and let's see what data it extracts. So it extracts some data, but it extracts the unconverted amount. So we need to do something here with the keyboard. So let's go into that web page and let's see if a space, yep, a space would do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to press space bar. We're going to send a keystroke after this that will then change that number. So send keystroke. So send keys, and we're going to do it after this bit. And we're going to send a special key, misc, and space. So space wouldn't work. You need to actually choose those special keys. With automation in general, especially web automation, if there are shortcuts using the keys, definitely use them because they are much more robust than other types of automation. Let us go with this and see what happens. Okay, so run, and fingers crossed this is going to work. It's going to open up the web page, and this time it's going to put a space in there. So we should see that that amount convert. Opens that up. Clicks in there, puts the dollar in, presses space, grabs that number, and hey presto, we have the amount in the variables. So the key lessons there of everything that we just did is to really know the website that you're automating. Look at all these instances of stuff. Really know the website that you're automating. So on this page here, we know that we click in here. So we know first of all that there's an element here that we click. Once we click, a hidden input box appears that we then need to populate. Then we need to send a key for it to convert this number over here. So it was a lot of trial and error on the website, but then you can automate those actions in Power Automate Desktop. It's just getting used to which actions you need to be focused on to do the automation. So once we've done that, we then want to close the browser. So let's go to close. I think it's close. Close web browser, drag that down here. And the instance is the browser, so that's good. And we want to do something with it, so let's just write it into Excel. So go into our write notes to Excel, and then let's just copy and paste this here. And this time we'll write into column 5, and we'll write the value converted amount. So we'll write the converted amount. Make sure I move that out of there. Into column number 5. And click save. And then let's go here and just make sure we're running both of those subflows. Now, you need to make sure you run currency converter before you do the Excel one, otherwise that converted amount will not be available and you'll get an error. So I'm just going to Control C, Control V to copy that action, and we're going to do write notes to Excel, and this should be the completed end-to-end process with the web working as it should. So it opens up does this stuff. Here we go. Running the subflow here to get the converted amount. Puts it in, grabs the converted, and now we should see Excel in the background open up, and it will write that converted amount into the 5th column. I just move this out of the way. You can see there's the converted amount there, and that's it. If you did that, congratulations, you have done your first web automation. It can be tricky, it can be frustrating. If web automation is something that you are going to be doing a lot of, in the advanced section there is a resource page. Check that out. There's a couple of YouTubers that are really good at this stuff, so YouTube is a great resource for the advanced stuff. And if you get stuck, of course we have the support channel. We've got a bubble there, you can click on there, we've got real-time chat, you can email us, and you've got access to our knowledge base there as well. Thank you so much, congratulations on completing this particular module, and good luck with all of your web automation goodness.